My name is Jungle Jamie, and welcome to Hawk Mountain's Sanctuary Storytime. Today's program is Percy the Victorious Vulture, and I am so happy that you are here. If you're happy too, shake your tail feathers. Woo! At Hawk Mountain, we love nature. We love the birds, especially the raptors. We love the plants and all wildlife because all living things are connected. If you love nature too, then get up and move around like your favorite animal. Hello, everyone. Rich Top Rachel and I are so excited that you are joining us today to learn about the fascinating world of Black Vultures.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here.
First, we're going to learn about why Black vultures and vultures in general are so important, and we're going to learn about some of the adaptations they have that make them so special. Then we are going to read a totally awesome book. It's a true story, and it's called Percy the Victorious Vulture. And finally, we are going to look at some real videos of Black vultures in the wild that our scientists at Hawk Mountain are studying. This program is being recorded, so afterwards you are welcome to watch the video whenever you like on Hawk Mountain's YouTube channel. Hey, Rich Top Rachel, did you want to share anything?
Absolutely. Thanks, Jungle Jamie. Oh, my goodness. Well, folks may already know that different animals eat different types of food. So let's say plant eaters, animals that only are interested in plants, like the salad bar eater of the rabbit and the deer. Those animals are called herbivores. They only eat plants and animals. Well, what about animals that only eat meat? They're called carnivores, like this bobcat and raptors. Owls and hawks and falcons, they only eat meat. Well, wait a minute. What about the animals that eat both? The best of both worlds. The black bear is an example of an omnivore, just like this rocky raccoon. So those are some examples of different menu options in the animal world. But wait, we are forgetting an essential employee. There are animals called scavengers who eat dead animals. They specialize in eating carrion or dead animals. And my favorite animal on earth are the vultures. So I'd love to share just a few amazing adaptations, those tools or body parts or behaviors that help an animal to be successful. One amazing vulture adaptation is that they're completely bald. That means they don't have hair. Well, come on, by now we should know birds have what? Feathers, that's right. So having a bald head, oh yeah, and bald is beautiful. That actually is an adaptation to keep your head clean as you're eating. That means you won't get pieces of food or blood caked on your feathers on your head. Ugh. Now they do preen, that means they clean their other feathers on their body. But if you thought that was gross, I'm sorry. If it was scary, I'm really sorry. If you were a vulture, do you know what vultures do when they're scared? Do you? Do you want to know? They They throw up, and that's an adaptation to keep predators away. Isn't that cool? Oh my goodness. It's just amazing. That's what they do when they get scared, and it works. That's why it's an adaptation. Also, when they want to cool off, they go to the bathroom on their legs. That's right, people. And that's an adaptation to actually keep their legs clean. It kills germs. If you are a vulture, you're spending most of your time feeding on the ground, eating at carcasses on carrion. Those are just a few of the amazing adaptations of vultures. Now, I happen to know Miss Jamie is going to read the story of Percy, a famous black vulture who lives near Hawk Mountain Sanctuary. Take it away, Jamie.
Thanks so much, Rachel. That was amazing, learning all those cool facts about vultures. So I am so excited to read this book. And like Rich Top Rachel said, the best thing about this book is that it's a true story. I love true stories, don't you? So I actually have this book on my computer too, and I want to read it through my computer because I think you in the audience will be able to see the pictures better that way. And I don't know about you, but for me, when I'm reading a book, looking at the pictures is one of my most favorite parts. So let me share that with you all. Okay, here we are. Can you see that, Rich Top Rachel?
Oh, absolutely. I see Percy, and wow, it looks like maybe south or north lookout at Hawk Mountain Sanctuary.
Yes, yes. And another wonderful thing about this book is that it was published by Hawk Mountain Sanctuary, and it was written by Aaron Brown, who was the education director at Hawk Mountain for several years. Percy the Victorious Vulture. In March, Mother Black Vulture found the perfect place to lay her eggs, a cave high in the Appalachian Mountains. And that's the mountain range where Hawk Mountain is. It goes all the way up and down the eastern part of the United States. She did not build a nest. Instead, she made a scrape in the dirt and settled down to lay her eggs. She laid 2 eggs, and Mother and Father Vulture took turns sitting on the eggs to keep them warm. In April, 2 chicks hatched from the eggs. Percy and Leah had few feathers, so their parents had to sit on them to keep them warm. The nestlings, and that's what baby birds are called when they're still in the nest, the nestlings were very hungry. The adults took turns bringing food to them, but the food was not solid. Their parents regurgitated or threw up liquid food for the nestlings to eat. Yum! In May and June, Percy and Leah grew feathers, so their mother and father did not need to sit on them to keep them warm. So feathers help keep birds warm. That's so important. But guess what? Percy and Leah were still hungry. Now their parents brought back solid food for them to eat many times a day. In July, the young vultures followed their parents out of the cave and into the sky. And now they were fledglings because they could leave the nest area or the scrape. The fledglings would not return to the nest site. Instead, they would roost with their parents in a nearby stand of trees. They still could not feed themselves and needed their parents to teach them how to find food. It sounds like vultures are really good parents and they take great care of their young. Percy woke up at the roost site with his family and many other black vultures. Black vultures like to be together, and many families will roost in the same tree. Percy was excited to fly again, but he would have to wait for the morning air to warm up. As the morning air grew warmer, Percy and the others stretched their wings to warm up in the summer sunshine. Their black feathers soaked up the sun's heat so that they could fly. Percy's long black wings have white wingtips. Once the sun warmed up the ground, invisible thermals rose up from the landscape. Now, thermals is a science word, but it just means warm air. And warm air rises. So the thermals, the warm air, rise up. Percy and his family leaped into the rising air and were lifted up, up, up by the thermals. Percy followed his parents as they searched for dead animals, which we call carcasses, on the ground. He had to learn how to find food on his own. Percy and his family were soaring above the Kempton Valley, and the Kempton Valley is where Hawk Mountain is located, in Kempton. So Percy and his family were soaring above the Kempton Valley when they saw a pig carcass at the Brown family farm. So it's a dead pig. Down, down, down they flew for lunch. This time, the carcass was inside a big square cage. But the door was open, so in Percy went for a tasty meal. Nom, 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 nom. Then the door shut behind him, and he could not get out. A man came into the trap and picked him up. Percy could not get away. This man was a conservation science trainee who studied at Hawk Mountain Sanctuary. So the conservation science trainee is at Hawk Mountain learning how to study birds. Percy was measured, weighed, and had a yellow wing tag with the number 43 on it. And this wing tag was attached to his right wing. And then the man let Percy go. Percy flew to a nearby dead tree and preened his feathers until they were all neat and clean. And remember, Ridgetop Rachel was teaching us earlier about preening. It is how birds clean themselves and their feathers. They'll take a feather and they'll run it through their beak, cleaning it, just like you would comb your hair or brush your hair. So after preening, then off Percy flew to roost with his family and friends. As summer passed by, Percy learned to find his own food. Sometimes the food he found was in the woods or in a field, but sometimes the food was on the road. One day, Percy was eating a dead possum that was on the road and did not see or hear the truck driving down the road, heading straight for him. Percy saw the truck too late and tried to fly away, but his long wing was hit by the truck as it drove by. Percy's wing hurt and it no longer seemed to work. So he had to walk back to his roost site. Percy could not fly up to his favorite perch at the top of the tree. Instead, he hopped up to the lowest branch to roost for the night. In the fall, the other black vultures moved further south for the cold winter months. But since Percy couldn't fly, he had to stay behind. Percy was going to have to find food for himself without being able to fly. This was going to take some skill, some luck, and a little help from the good people of Kempton. Percy ate dog food when he thought the dog was away. Good thing Percy can run fast and jump high. Percy ate cat food that was left outside for him. That sure was nice. People were leaving food out for him. And look, you can still see his yellow wing tag that says number 43. Percy ate compost, and compost is rotting fruits and vegetables that sometimes people put outside. And of course, he continued to eat any dead animals or roadkill that he could find. Percy roosted in evergreen trees to stay out of the winter snow, wind, and ice. But then spring came and the snow melted. The days got warmer and longer. And then one day, many of the other vultures came back. Percy was glad to be back with the group. He was not able to fly with them, but he could still thermoregulate in the sun and roost with them. Thermoregulate, that's a big word. It just means being able to control your body temperature, going out in the sun to warm up. Percy had been through a lot, but in the end, Percy had persevered and he survived. And the good news is that Percy is still alive today, thanks to the wonderful people of Kempton that take care of him during the winter and help by leaving out some food for him. He's still alive today and can still be seen in Kempton. And how do they know it's Percy? Because he still has that yellow wing tag on him with the number 43. And guess what? Recently, some folks that live in Kempton contacted Hawk Mountain and they said, hey, Percy was just outside of our house eating some cat food, and I took a little video of him if you want to share it at Sanctuary Storytime. So I'm so excited. This is literally just from this week. Here is a video. Let me share this video. Now it's a little bit blurry, but still it's so cool because it's actually Percy, who we just read about. All right, give me a second. Let me find it. Okay. Here we go. So this is Percy, and here we go. It's a little blurry, but you can see that yellow wing tag, and if it was clearer, you could see that it has the number 43 on it. So it's so awesome to know he's still.
No, he didn't finish with this one. He's had enough. He's very clear. There he goes. Goodbye for today. Might come back tonight.
There he goes. And look, there's a cat watching. And do you remember in the book, there one of the pictures showed the cat watching Percy from the window. Isn't that so cool? And another thing I really liked about that book when we were learning about Percy and his family and the other Black vultures he lives with is that vultures like to be with their friends and their family. And does that remind you of yourself? Do you like to be with other people? And isn't that wonderful that vultures are very social too, and they like to be with other vultures? So I hope you enjoyed reading this book. And this book is also available on Hawk Mountain's website. You can read it on your computer as well. Hey, Ridgetop Rachel!
Jamie, Jungle Jamie, that was amazing. Thank you so much. Wow, I just cannot wait to get outside and actually look for vultures. Well, I'd like to ask everyone if they want to learn how to fly like a vulture. So, first things first, let's take a close-up look at a black vulture. Of course, we can see its face, its featherless head, its very sharp bill, and their cousins are also living around Hawk Mountain. And this happens to be a turkey vulture, another very important scavenger, nature's garbage collector. Well, they fly very differently. They have a lot in common, but they fly very differently. So I thought, let's fly like a vulture. And I'd like to start off with the turkey vulture. I actually think that's the easy one. So please join me in putting your wings up like this in a V for vulture. So once you've made your V and you can stand up, you want to rock back and forth, just like that. Actually, I call them rock stars because turkey vultures rock back and forth. You know, vultures have huge wingspans, and lots of people think they're actually eagles because they have these huge wings. So the turkey vulture is in a V, it rocks back and forth. Now the black vulture, like Percy and all of Percy's relatives and friends, look a little bit different when they're flying. So I'm actually putting on these white gloves because that's one of the field marks or clues to know, oh, gee, I see a big, dark bird. Is it an eagle? Maybe. Is it a turkey vulture? Maybe. Let's look at the shape and how it's flying. So black vultures are very flat, and they have these white little gloves. It looks like they're wearing gloves, and at the tips of their feathers, and they don't hold their wings in a V. They're flatter, and they do these very, very fast, very fast flying beats, like ba ba ba, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, and they have very square tails. Well, guess what? There's more. I actually have, from our friends at the Game Commission in Pennsylvania, a real wing of a black vulture. And again, you can see underneath there's that white tip or white glove, the white glove treatment. Well, I'd love to take a closer look, just very briefly, and show you some photos. And let's see. Miss Jamie, I have to apologize. I'm not seeing the photos. I was going to show some photos, but you know what? We don't need photos. Guess what I'm lucky enough to have? Since we work with real scientists who are out there looking for vultures, they're studying them, and they're putting wing tags on them. I actually happen to have some with me. That's what the photos were about. So let's look at the colors very quickly. Which one is for a black vulture? Think about Percy. Now his number was 43. So I have, if you said yellow for a black vulture, you're absolutely correct. But don't forget about the turkey vultures. They wear light blue wing tags with numbers. And I even have a third wing tag with me. So this is, what number is this? It's a 414, 414. What's this? 398, 398. And finally, the black vulture tag of 271, 271. So that's so exciting. I wanted to encourage you, and I will always encourage you to go out and look for vultures, to love vultures, to share what you learned about vultures, and please know that they are essential employees. They are helping to keep the earth clean by being an important part of the cleanup crew. Clean up, clean up. Vultures help to clean up, and oh, but there's more. You can actually report your sightings. We want your sightings. If you see a black or turkey vulture outside, please make your observations. Is it a yellow tag? Is it a blue tag? Can you see the number? And then contact Hawk Mountain, because there are scientists that are working hard to learn about vultures so we can protect them. Wow. I'm going to end by bragging about a little craft. So I wanted to get crafty. And yes, if you have black construction paper with white crayons, go wild. It can be as simple as that, or just draw a vulture. I decided to resurrect the paper plate that I already had and some construction paper that I already had. So I decided to look online at some of Hawk Mountain's materials and looked at Percy for some inspiration. I drew a vulture. I thought, oh, well, I know they like the sun to save energy. And I decided, I'm going to throw Hawk Mountain in there. And this is my craft. So I would encourage you to get crafty and share your love of vultures. Jamie, thank you so much. This was just a pleasure.
Thank you.
Real victory.
A vulture victory. Thank you so much, Ridgetop Rachel. And Ridgetop Rachel is one of the craftiest people I know. I also wanted to share with you this really awesome and fun vulture activity book. It's New World Vultures, which means they're vultures. The New World means that like North America and South America. So this is free on our website, and I emailed everyone the link to our website where you can download this. It's on the same email that the Zoom link was on, and there's so many different fun activities, things you can draw, and other little crafts and fun activities about vultures. And it's under the education tab, under coloring pages and activities. So definitely have some vulture fun. So one more thing I wanted to share with everyone is that we have some scientific video footage of black vultures I would like to share. So one of the tools that our scientists use to find out information about raptors and birds such as the vultures is they'll put a camera or a video camera out in an area where they think the vultures may be, and it's recording automatically and no people are around. So it gives us an inside glimpse into what the vultures are doing when no people are around. So there's a little video clip of some black vultures I thought was so interesting, and I just wanted to share that with you briefly. Excuse me for 1 second. I just have to find it. All right, there we go. All right. So here, this is a field. It's by a graveyard, and it's very close to Hawk Mountain in Kempton. And look at that. That is a black vulture. He is very curious. They're very smart, and he is inspecting that video camera. Here comes another. Remember, we know they're social. They're always hanging out with their family or friends. Look at that beak. Look at that head. Remember, Ridgetop Rachel was saying they have a bald head so that they can eat their carcasses without getting rotting food on their head. Look at their eyes. Black vultures have amazing eyesight. And if you might notice when he blinks, look at him, he's pulling at the cord around the camera. You might notice when he blinks, did you see that creamy, milky white looking eyelid come across their eye when he blinked? That's because vultures and other raptors have a third eyelid, and that was the milky white one you saw. It has a big fancy name. Oh, I just saw it again, called the nictitating membrane, and it acts like a shield. It kind of protects their eyes, and many animals that hunt have that. They seem very, very curious. And look at that beak. Look at that curved hook beak. Helps them eat. And look at their feet. Wow, super cool. All right. I hope everyone enjoyed that video that our science team sent us of some black vultures hanging out in the cemetery, having a good time. So I hope that everyone continues to be on the lookout for any vultures you may see. I know that there's certainly a lot around the area. And thank you, Ridgetop Rachel, for an awesome program today. Thank you to our audience for joining us. We hope to see you again soon. Our next Sanctuary Storytime is on Thursday, June 25th and we are going to read the book Zoe Finds a Fawn. And we have a very special guest, the author of the book, Peggy Sue Hentz, and she's also the founder of a wildlife rescue center right by Hawk Mountain. It's called Red Creek. So it's going to be great. And remember, we're going to have Sanctuary Storytime the second and fourth Thursday of every month throughout the summer at 11 o'clock a.m. So have a great day, and we hope to see you soon. Bye.
Bye.